afternoon to all of you. Today, we have a very unique topic with our expert guest, Honorable Birungi Beatrice ma'am from Uganda, East Africa. Today, she is going to enlighten us on a very important topic, that is the subconscious mind survival to thrival health upgrade. So, not taking too much time, I would like to request ma'am to kindly proceed today's interesting topic. And if anyone has any query or question, as usual, you can ask in the comment section of YouTube. So once again, thank you so much, ma'am. Now we should start.
Thank you so much. Good morning, good afternoon to everybody listening. I am sure today's topic is going to be challenging to all of us because most of us have been programmed to live in survival mode for almost all our lives. And we've come up with interesting phrases like, I am a survivor, survivor for the fittest. And this has kept us in survival mode, which is a very limiting mode. So today we are going to be looking at how we can shift from the survival mode to a thrival mode so that we can thrive in all areas of our lives: ecological, environmental, generation and familial, sexual reproductivity, energetic vibrational, marital relationship, neurophysiological, economic, financial, social, emotional, quality of life, future vision, intelligence, character, and the spiritual areas. We are going to be looking at what is happening in the brain that is causing us to remain in survival mode and what can change in the brain for us to get into thrival mode. Our subconscious mind has power, and this power will work against us if we are in survival, or it will work for us when we are in thrival. The autopilot programming of our subconscious mind can be turned around into a super conscious power that is going to help us live in thrival. And for that to happen, we need to break limiting cycles. We need to have a sort of ascension, consciousness evolution, so that we can move from survival to thrival, from limitation, fear, and struggle to freedom, joy, and effortlessness. What will your choice be? I'm sure by the end of this presentation, you will know where you need to be in order to live a life that is full of freedom. Life has a way of handling us unexpected and stressful situations, but we don't have to be at the mercy of those situations. We may not be able to choose whether or not we experience stress, but mindful choices about how to handle these situations can mean the difference between merely surviving the stress or thriving in the face of that stress. It is one thing to survive. How much better to exist in a state of thrival in response to our changing world? Right now, where you are, ask yourself this question: am I thriving or am I merely surviving? Surviving is a struggle. Surviving is a daily drag to stay alive. Survival is barely getting by. On the other hand, thrival is joyful, infectious living, thinking abundantly. And it allows expansion of our consciousness, of our connectedness and beingness. So moving from thrival, from survival to thrival requires a mind, body, energy shift from emptiness to a state of fullness. Living in survival mode keeps our nervous system locked in fight, flight, or freeze, continually repeating patterns focused and reliant on external factors, and will always leave us depending and lacking and depleted of energy. What attracted us to this survival mode are people, opportunities, experiences reinforcing our need to stay in survival. And living in thrival allows us to flourish through life in flow, reaching higher and higher potentials, and connected to our own power, our purpose, and prosperity, fueling us synchronistically, attracting the people, the opportunities, and experiences we seek to truly thrive. Feeding a void is a dependence on seeking external things, people, and substances to attempt to give us the immediate but temporary pleasure, happiness, and relief. And this causes the void, the emptiness, to grow, repeating the cycle of dependence on external factors. Fulfillment is in the internal state of sustainable contentment and ease that doesn't require anything external. Fulfillment creates a sustainable state that is unwavering. Feeding a void is focused on external factors and it repels sustainable fulfillment. It keeps us empty and stuck in survival mode. Feeding sustainable fulfillment is an introspective job and it shifts us into thrival mode. Now, simply committing to thriving and leaving behind survival mode is the first and most difficult step. Survival is too often our autopilot subconscious mind default. There is comfort in its familiar discomfort, but thriving is not only circumstantial. When our life really begins, I will thrive. It is a choice. Once we reprogram our subconscious, it is time to clean up the debris left behind, all the survival mode wreckage, bad relationships, unhealthy habits, a life beyond devoid of intention and purpose. Shifting from survival to thrival is a process of remodeling the inner and outer landscape of our life. Together, we can discover the space of thrival, move beyond the past, move into a greater future. Are we ready? The survival subconscious mind, also known as the body mind, is the controlling intelligence in the body. It communicates with every cell of the body at all times, and it can excuse me. It communicates with every cell of the body at all times. It can affect health, and it influences survival or thrival and the body. This is how living in survival can cause us to have health complications. Because every thought, every emotion, every desire, every internal representation of life is monitored and overheard by the subconscious mind. The subconscious mind's job is to keep us safe and surviving, to maintain what the conscious mind believes. With subconscious mind rewiring and reprogramming with new beliefs and thoughts, the subconscious links us to another mind that we are going to be looking at today that is going to take us into Thrival. It is known as the superconscious mind. The subconscious mind holds the repressed memories and beliefs and the shadow aspects of ourselves. If those memories and aspects of self are not processed and reintegrated into our lives, they may remain locked in the confines of our body and express themselves as symptoms and tensions in our body, causing us a health that might not be suitable. This subconscious mind is in charge of all the physical body systems, and it has been guiding and developing it from our embryonic state. This subconscious mind is aware of any ailments the body is experiencing. It is responsible for how those ailments evolve and are expressed, even allergies. This subconscious mind is aware of the outer environmental threats to our survival, and it ensures that we are safe and are surviving. Outer influences, those accidents and trauma, external stressors, and environment are major influences on our health. But it is the subconscious mind that dictates how the body is going to respond to the external factors of our life. I want us to get this very clearly. It is the subconscious mind that dictates how the body is responding to the external factors of our life. Every day, most of us are having the same thoughts. We are having the same conversations and worries and resentments and stress levels. We spend time with the same people who are having the same experiences and conversations, beliefs and behaviors. And these beliefs have been passed down by family members or other influential people, which lock us into survival, creating health issues in our lives all the time. We are living thoughts, living emotions, living distorted perceptions of an innocent situations. We think the same thoughts over and over and over and over again. Experts say that we think as many as 60,000 to 80,000 thoughts per day. And of these thoughts, 95% of them are repetitive, they are highlighted, and we have thought them before. And these could be stories, conversations, and events that we are prone to reliving from the past. And they begin to alter when they are in our subconscious. We begin to delete, to distort, and to generalize information according to what we believe. And we allow it to be held back and used for future reference. This is how we are kept in survival. This is how the survival mode becomes our comfort zone, though it is so uncomfortable. We have the power to move from the subconscious consciousness to super consciousness through changing our thoughts, through building up our reserves of positive energy, through fighting symptoms and altering our destiny. A secret treasure lies in our own mind. The two spheres of activity in our mind, the conscious frontal brain and the subconscious brain. The conscious thinks logically and helps us to make choices, and the subconscious doesn't think rationally but accepts what we have kept as our beliefs and our thoughts. Both can be rewired to work together, the conscious and the subconscious, so that they merge into something beautiful to be called the superconscious mind, so that we can shift from survival and get into thrival. Are you ready to get into thrival? Are we ready to shift from the subconscious mind of survival programs to the thrival mode of superconsciousness? Now let's ask ourselves what this superconscious mind is. Because most of us have had the subconscious and the unconscious mind, but I am sure few of us have come across the superconscious mind. This superconsciousness is a state above subconsciousness and superconsciousness. The subconscious mind is a bridge between the superconsciousness and the conscious mind. The superconscious mind is heightened awareness. This superconscious mind is a state of wisdom and intuition. It is the higher self. And this superconscious state connects us to a higher state of being and functioning. That flow state, tapping into the superconscious thrival mode potential. It is also the place where true creativity and genius are found. It is an infinite source of wisdom and inspiration, a well of limitless potential where our desires come from. This superconscious state is characterized by peace, by calmness, by love, by bliss, and joy. The superconscious does not turn down energy. It does not deplete our energy. And when our energy is not depleted, we stay healthy. This superconscious is a highly peaceful and energetic state of being. This superconscious mind is a level of awareness where we see material reality and the energy behind that reality. The subconscious, on the other hand, controls most of our life but draws from past actions and the habits we have created from them. Hence, the ideas that are arriving from the subconscious are not new. They are old. They are repeated. So, we need new inspiring ideas that can be able to rewire, to reboot, and rewrite and reprogram the subconscious mind. The superconscious mind can provide us with new creative ideas. And this superconscious thrival state is not reserved only for mystics, for yogis, for sages, or saints alone. We have most likely tapped into that superconscious mind before, but we did not know what it was. When we find ourselves super immersed in our work, completely in flow, and time is flying by without our notice, that is the superconscious mind. Our subconscious mind creates 95% of our reality without us knowing, according to Dr. Bruce. When our subconscious mind is rewired, we can think of someone and then we get a call from that person. Why? This is due to the superconscious mind aligning itself with the correct frequencies at that particular time. When we create a reality of infinite possibilities and opportunities, we are in flow with thrival consciousness. And we are connected to the quantum frequencies of the universe, where we attract positive abundance. When we connect to the egoic frequencies of fear and survival, what do you think we'll attract? We will attract limitation. And science estimates that 90%, 95% of our brain's activity is unconscious and subconscious. And most of our thoughts, emotions, and actions, beliefs depend on the 95% beyond conscious awareness. What does this mean? According to neuroscience, we are conscious of only 5% of our cognitive activity, the survival limitation. Wouldn't we like to make use of the 95% shift into thrival superconsciousness from survival subconsciousness, rewire our subconscious mind to get it into a state of super consciousness? Let us see the content of what we are going to be looking at today. Slide 5 gives us the content of what we are going to be looking at today. And the first content, we are going to look at the trinity of the mind. And the trinity of the mind is the conscious, subconscious, and superconsciousness. We've already covered that. And we are going to look at the three brains: the reptilian brain, the limbic mammalian brain, and the frontal thinking brain, and how these three brains can work together to get us out of instinctual reptilian brain of survival and the mammalian emotional limbic brain, where we find ourselves having particular impulses and we are forced to respond impulsively. And we are going to look at the frontal brain and especially the executive center, where we are going to have thoughts clarified and we are going to be able to move into being able to get to that place of the superconsciousness that is located at the third eye area. And before we finish, we'll be looking at a particular area called the reticular activating system. This is an area between the conscious and the subconscious that is responsible for us to get out of survival into thrival mode. Are we ready? Now, we've already seen the subconscious, the conscious, and we've explained what the superconscious is about. Now let us go to slide 8 and look at the three brains: the reptilian brain, the limbic brain, and the rational brain. And we have seen that the reptilian brain is that place of survival. Together with the mammalian brain, the limbic system of emotions, where we find ourselves reacting to stressors impulsively. And then the rational brain, the neocortex, that is going to be able to help us to move into the executive function, where we'll be able to calm down the noise of the environmental stressors and dependence onto the environment so that we can get within and be able to live according to our higher purpose. Slide 10 is going to show us, and we are moving into where survival and thrival brains are, and according to neuroscience. Slide 10. So our brain has a higher cortical level that is dealing with thriving, and a lower subcortical level that is dealing with surviving. And the thrival area is the prefrontal cortex, the forebrain, also known as the executive center. Now, we can transcend the subconscious into the superconsciousness and beyond when we get to understand the power of the brain waves. And these brain waves are going to help us to see how we can move beyond survival and get into thrival. And to understand that, we are going to move to slide 20. This is going to show us the power of the brain waves. So these brain waves are the science behind the power of the subconscious mind. And these brain waves, we are looking at the beta waves, we are looking at alpha waves, we are looking at theta waves, and we are looking at delta waves, and we are also looking at gamma waves. Beta waves are high frequency, low amplitude brain waves that we are in when we are wide awake. And alpha waves are those waves that we get into when we close our eyes and we get into a wakeful rest. Then after that, the theta waves are those waves that we experience as we are drifting off to sleep. When we find ourselves drifting off to sleep, we are in theta waves. Then delta waves are those dreamless sleep transcendental experiences when we are deeply asleep. And these waves have a deep healing regeneration, and that's why we need to sleep ample hours of sleep in order to be able to heal ourselves very well. So we will be looking at those brain waves and the very important thing they have, especially when we come to this reticular activating system that I am going to talk about right now. And I want us to understand this very well because it is very powerful to keep us in survival, and it can also be very powerful to get us into thrival mode. What is this reticular activating system? It is located at the base of the brain where it connects with the spinal cord, and it is a bundle of nerves. And these bundle of nerves, they are a filter between our conscious mind and our subconscious mind. They are the brain's gateway to conscious thought. And they play a particular role because a lot of information is coming in from the environment, and it would bombard our brain if it were not filtered by this reticular activating system. So this reticular activating system has a huge influence on self-perception, how we see things, the outer stressors and the events. And it reinforces what's going on in our subconscious mind. Now, let us understand exactly what is the importance of this RAS, reticular activating system. Our reticular activating system acts according to our thought patterns. We will keep looking at the same car that we want every time we walk down the street. When we are focusing on how unlucky we are and how we are living in scarcity, how we are failures, it will keep on bringing and showing us situations from the environment that are going to confirm to us our scarcity and our failure. This reticular activating system doesn't pay attention to all the good things that are happening into our life when we are still in survival. So, what attention are we giving to our thoughts, to our feelings? Because those thoughts that we have, and though that attention that we have, and the feelings that we have, will bring people, ideas, and experiences of these thoughts into our life directly by using the reticular activating system. By focusing on our thoughts and feelings on good, beauty, and love and peace, we will be able to bring into our lives those experiences, those people, and those opportunities that are going to be resources that we will need in order to be able to be who we are meant to be. So our reticular activating system will be reprogrammed, and when we look into the mirror, we will see that we are in plenty, we are abundant, because that's how we have reprogrammed what we want to be, what we want to see, and who we want to become, and what we want to have. When we look at slide 24, we are moving towards the end of this session. We are going to be looking at how we can have mind mastery through the executive center. And we are going to ask ourselves what this executive center is. This executive center is located in the prefrontal cortex, and it gives us the ability to stay in thrival and to get out of the reptilian and mammalian brains of survival. Who wouldn't want to live in thrival? But how can we live in thrival? How can we engage our executive center so that we can live in thrival? Now, this executive center is like a choir master. It coordinates all that is happening within our mind, all the thoughts that are coming in, and it reduces the volume of the stressing conditions within our environment to get us concentrated only on the clarity of thought, on the creativity of who we want to become. And we can help our executive center by asking ourselves the following 13 questions. And these are the questions. Number one, how do you feel your space? Number two, how do you spend your time? Number three, how do you spend your energy? Number four, how do you spend your money? Number five, where are you most organized? Number six, where are you most reliable? Number seven, what dominates your thoughts? Number eight, what do you visualize most? Number nine, what do you talk to yourself about? Number 10, what do you talk to other people about? Number 11, what do you love to learn or read? Number 12, what inspires you? Number 13, what goals stand out in your life and have stood the test of time? When we engage our executive center, this is the center of creativity. This is the center of learning new things. And the moment we learn something new, we are forming new neural pathways, we are forming new synapses, we are forming new neurons. And with that, there is a possibility of forming new proteins, new genes, new tissues, and new organs. And this is what is going to upgrade our health so that we are no longer allowing the external stressful situations to determine our health through the subconscious autopilot patterns. So, what choice are we making today? I would like us to go together through slide 28 to see the thrival mode and the survival mode, to see what is happening in our brain in the survival mode and what is happening in our brain in the thrival mode, so that we can be able to see what we need to go and what we need to do by observing the thoughts that keep us in survival and changing them and transmuting them into the thoughts that lead us into thrival. We are on slide 28. And we are looking at the signs and symptoms of the ungoverned mind versus the signs and symptoms when we are living in self governing executive function. Slide 28, please. So, the signs and symptoms of the ungoverned mind that is living in survival, there is impulsivity, and that is we find ourselves acting before we think, and our mind is scattered. We have anger, we have aggression, we have fear, and we are frustrated. So we are emotionally volatile. Slide 28. We are having feelings of betrayal, feelings of regret, and we don't have immediate gratification. We need immediate gratification. If we want something, we want it right now. We cannot delay gratification. All these are the signs and symptoms of an ungoverned mind that is living in survival. Most times we'll be having depression, anxiety, and focusing on problems. And this is distracting brain noise that is going to fill us with that mental clutter. And we are going to be feeling stuck and stagnant. We will be having unclear and uncertain vision, and we are not going to have a clear vision and a clear purpose. We might find ourselves having unrealistic expectations, and most times we'll find ourselves blaming outer circumstances. And we might find ourselves imperative in language, those shoulds, those ought, those I must, I have. These are the signs and symptoms of the ungoverned mind that is living in survival. Now let us look at this governed mind that is in thrival, where the executive function is in place. We find ourselves thinking before we act. We have clear minded consciousness. We are poised and serve centered, and we are solution oriented. We are poised and centered, and we are solution oriented. We are seeing how everything serves us, and we are seeing the hidden order even in the ugly circumstances and chaos that we face. We are fulfilled and inspired, and we have delayed gratification. We are stable with balanced emotions, and we are enthusiastic. We are expanding, we are progressive, and we are mastering our life. We have a clear vision, mission, purpose, and we have realistic objectives. We are taking accountability, and we are focused. And we are intrinsic, and we live in love, and we choose to live in love. Who wouldn't want mind mastery? Let's go together to the last slide and let's contemplate together on the way forward after today. Slide 30, the last slide. Where are you? Are you in survival or thrival? And where we are going to choose to be is going to be a conscious choice. We are looking at the emotional graph of ascension. And we are on an ascension journey in order to move from fear based consciousness, which is at the lowest graph, and go into the higher consciousness where there is love, peace, and joy. And that is the thrival mode. So the lower part of the graph is the survival mode, and the higher part of the graph is the thrival mode. When we are talking about living in Eden, it is about living in thrival. Because when we are in Eden, we are everything and everything is us. We are that abundance. We are that love. We are that peace. We don't have to look for anything. Everything is us and we are everything. However, when we remain in survival mode, in fear, then it's as if we've sent ourselves out of Eden. And once we are out of Eden, we have to eat of the fruit of our own sweat and we have to toil. We are not in flow and there is no effortless flow. We are struggling. It's time to get out of fear and get into that flow, that thrival mode. Where do you want to be? Gently close your eyes and observe the thoughts that are coming to you right now. Those emotions that are being fueled because of the thoughts that you have right now. Where is that thought coming from? I need $1,000,000. Is that thought coming out of scarcity? Is it coming out of the need to survive? If it is, then we are still living in fear. We are still drenched in survival. We are already what we are seeking. And when we are already what we are seeking, when I need something, I'm still in survival. But when I have something, even if its outer physical manifestation is not yet seen, then I am in thriving mode. Are we ready to take this journey and walk out of survival, that struggle, into the flow of survival? I hope these 45 minutes have been very useful to you. And I hope that by making a choice through observing every thought and asking yourself if that thought is coming out of lack or abundance, eventually you'll be able to tip the balance between survival and thrival and know where you will be each moment and each breath of your life. I wish you all the best. I started this presentation by saying that it's going to challenge us because most of us have been living in survival. And we thought we are survivors, we have to survive, not knowing that by saying that, we are locking ourselves into the survival mode. It is time to get out of survival mode. We have to thrive, to become conquerors, and get out of merely surviving. I hope those last words are resonating profoundly with you. Until our next topic, I wish you all the best. Namaste.
Thank you so much for such a wonderful session. And I think this will enlighten uh, so many people about the subconscious mind, the concept, and they will be able to understand whether they are the survival or the thrival state. So, one question is from my side. Um, what is the importance of understanding the subconscious mind at the level of student age? So, in your opinion, how a student must understand the importance of subconscious?
Our subconscious mind holds 95% of awareness. And this 95% is out of reach for us in the conscious mind. But what is happening beneath is so powerful, and it contains all our thoughts, all our emotions, all the past traumas, all those memories that we have gone through that have been happening over and over again, that keep being reminded to us every time. Because when something happens to us in the past, when something happens in the present moment, it reminds us of what happens in the past. And all those past memories come back to us in the present moment. And what is happening in the present moment is not only what is happening now, but it carries with it all the accumulated effects of what we've experienced before. And when this is happening in our subconscious mind, the importance of the subconscious mind is that this subconscious mind is the gateway to communicating with the energy field around us, the energy field of the quantum world, and the energy field of the cosmos. So, whatever it is that is in our thoughts and emotions, it is being communicated by our subconscious mind into the aura around us and into the quantum creative field. And when it is received by the quantum creative field, this field is a creative field that is going to multiply those energies we've sent out into it, and they will come back into us, and we experience those emotions and feelings through situations and events and people that we are attracting because of what we are holding in our subconscious mind. If you are having a beautiful thought about someone, and before you pick up a phone to call them, they are already calling you. How have they known? Because your subconscious mind is communicating to the creative field and also creating to the field of other humans, including that human that you are thinking about. So we have to be able as students, to be able as social workers who are talking to people about their subconscious mind, to let them know that they have to observe the thoughts they are carrying in their head, the emotions they are carrying in their heart, because the thought and the emotion that is in the head and the heart is what is going to be communicated by the subconscious mind into the energy field around us. And once it gets into the energy field around us, it will act as a ripple effect and come back to us in a heavier magnitude. So we attract people, situations, and events that are the same as the energy that has gone out. If our thoughts and emotions are based in fear and scarcity, we attract situations and circumstances and people that are going to get us to fear more. If we are having thoughts and emotions that are coming out of gratitude and abundance, then we are going to attract circumstances, people, and events that are going to show up as abundance in our lives. I hope that has been.
Thank you so much for such a wonderful answer. And if anyone has any query or question remaining, they can ask in the comment section. So thank you so much once again, ma'am.